Okay, well, this is the first video, my first attempt at running this type of adventure. I have experimented with it. I've tested it so that I know it's going to work. But I know I'm going to learn a lot after this first time of actually going through a full adventure. I don't know if I'm going to be able to complete a whole adventure in one sitting. I'm likely going to be breaking up into 3 sections. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. Rules right here, how I break everything down. So the first thing I need to do is I need to have AI randomize an adventure prompt. Okay, and here we go. Okay. Prompt is going to go into an AI image generator. That's what's going to happen. Now, all right, here is the image, and that is what I'm working with. So that's going to be what I'm going to be experiencing on this adventure. I eventually get there. That's the goal, without dying. I take prompt 2, and I have to look at this image and consider basically the mood I'm in, what kind of adventure I want to go on based on that. Am I looking for something that's really exciting and dangerous? Do I want something more romantic? Am I looking for something more academic? And I'm a librarian about an intrepid librarian who gets thrown into an adventure that takes him to other countries before finally discovering a lost city. I'm purposely making this very vague. That way, I'm going to let the AI actually create the story. I want to respond to it. I don't want to design the whole thing. I can do that myself. I can sit down and we can solo journal and just create the whole thing ourselves. But I really want to be able to respond more than design. Here it goes. So now it comes up with 3 plot points of basically probably 3 different videos of what we're going to do. The first one, the map in the margins. It starts in Alexandria, Egypt. My prompt to start the story, the prompt that I entered in, creates the prompt for the actual text adventure portion, which I'm going to enter here. And here we go. We're starting. Okay, that was all the setup. Takes a little bit, but I like it because it does it all up front, so that now that it starts, I can just focus on exactly on the adventure itself. Okay, it says, you adjust the UV lamp's angle with trembling fingers, its ghostly glow revealing serpentine script scrawling across the parchment, script that shouldn't exist in this 3rd century codex. Dust motes swirl violently as you jerk back, elbow nearly toppling the astrolabe, whose brass rings still hum from your earlier calculations. This decryption key is wrong, you mutter to the empty archive. But the Ptolemaic star charts on the shelf behind you whisper otherwise, their frayed edges stirring in a draft that smells faintly of myrrh and wet stone. Okay, so now this is a matter of continuing the story and seeing. This is where you get to role play when I'm ready for an action, I will roll, but right now I just kind of want to set the scene a little bit more. So I'm going to, let's see, the decryption key is wrong. So, let's see, if I was there and the decryption key is wrong, I recheck my notes to make sure that there really is a mistake. Oops, wrong place. Duh. Okay. Your fingers rifle through the stack of notes, translations of Coptic marginalia from 3 different scholars, each contradicting the other. The UV light casts long shadows as you cross-reference the star charts again. The brass astrolabes rings click softly, their alignment now undeniably matching the serpentine script. There's no mistake in your work. The parchment itself is wrong. The ink shimmers unnaturally under the ultraviolet, reacting like something far more modern, or far more ancient. A cold realization settles in your gut. This isn't a transcription error. Someone altered the original. Okay, well, I do, and I complete an analysis of the codex to check the actual potential date of it. However, I'm unaware of a potential danger looming in the room. The parchment's fibers resist slightly under your fingertips, unnaturally smooth for its supposed age. Under the UV light, the ink's luminescence pulses in slow waves, not fading like modern dyes, but breathing like something alive. Cross-referencing the watermark patterns against the Ptolemaic star chart, your stomach drops as the realization hits. This vellum wasn't merely altered, it was entirely replaced, woven into the codex with surgical precision. The astrolabe's hum rises in pitch as its rings align with your calculations, casting jagged shadows that don't match the smooth curves of the brass. Behind you, the scent of myrrh intensifies, cloying now, sticking to the back of your throat. Now it's set, so I'm going to go ahead and start. So the first thing that I do is I roll a 20-sided dice. This is going to tell me, basically I'm going to start interacting on a more random level. Here we go. Okay, I got a 14. So then I need to go to prompt 13, see what comes out of it. So now that I have my prompt, now I take this and I enter it into the story. So this is like a response that I don't choose, and this is going to cause the story generator to take the story in a specific direction. Okay. But as I rounded a corner, something unusual caught my eye. On a pedestal under a glass dome rested a small object that looked like a globe, but not an ordinary globe. Its surface was covered in tiny, intricate etchings, a lattice of lines and nodes that shimmered faintly under the warm sunlight. Curious, I leaned closer. It wasn't just ornamental, it was orrery. One of those intricate mechanical models used to simulate the motions of celestial bodies. What fascinated me most wasn't the obvious planets, but the craftsmanship. Each tiny sphere floated on a barely visible wire connected to a series of interlocking gears smaller than a fingernail. The entire device was powered by a clockwork mechanism designed to mimic the actual orbital periods of the planets over decades. I realized in a purely idle kind of awe that this orrery could, if wound carefully, demonstrate the positions of the planets on any given day, even predicting celestial alignments from centuries ago. Technically, it was a marvel of mechanical engineering. The gear ratios had to be precise down to fractions of a millimeter, otherwise Mercury and Venus would drift out of sync over the years. I stared, utterly captivated. It did nothing for my goal. Couldn't help me locate the manuscript, couldn't hurt me, and yet I felt an inexplicable connection to the centuries of thought and skill that had gone into it. I imagined the ancient astronomers who might have used it, adjusting the tiny spheres. I eventually tore myself away, manuscript still waiting somewhere in the shadows. The manuscript that I'm working with. I eventually tore myself away, manuscript still waiting somewhere in the shadows. The orrery lingered in my mind, an exquisite reminder that the universe in all its intricate mechanics could be held, if only briefly, in the palm of human ingenuity. A soft shuffling sound pulled me from my thoughts. A librarian, elderly and hunched, emerged from behind a shelf, adjusting wire-rimmed glasses that caught the dim light. "Curious thing, isn't it?" he murmured, nodding toward the orrery. "They say it belonged to Hypatia herself, though between us, half the artifacts here belong to Hypatia." His chuckle was dry, like parchment. Okay, so now I have a parchment that has been altered, even or more than altered. It was replaced and put inside the codex, a whole page. And then also I have this device, I guess, that can see stars, or see the alignment of stars. Okay, I finished that, but now comes the rolling. I'm gonna check to see how successful I am to be able to move on. So we did some where the story told me what was going on. I got a chance to respond, guide the story. I rolled to check and see what was going to happen outside of my control. Now, the final is allowing me to roll to test against a skill. That'll complete the round. Okay, so I go to prompt 18, which is the last one. I want to be able to talk the librarian into letting me keep it. Okay. So this is what I have to do in order to be successful at that. All right, I step lightly across the marble floor of the Alexandria Library, my eyes locked on the astrolabe. Resting behind the counter. I need it, not to steal it, not to destroy it, but to study it, hold on to it. Okay, this is going to be a medium difficulty. Okay, so roll 1 is based on my knowledge. I need at least an 11 to convince the librarian there that I am academically qualified. So it looks like there's 3 rolls to this. So 20-sided die, I have to roll at least an 11. A 10. So I am not going to be able to get it. I'm going to have to steal it. So now I'm going to do the same thing, but this time I'm going to go try to steal. Tries to steal uh, the from the librarian. All right. Okay. So now I need to roll a 14 or higher on a 20-sided dice in order to do it without getting caught. I got a 14. Okay, so I was able to kind of pawn it and take it. So now I'm going to go back to my story and say, luckily, I was able to steal the item. What was it again? The orrery. Steal the orrery without the librarian seeing me. And probably I'm going to want to get out of there right away. I then casually leave the room. Okay. It says the orrery's delicate brass frame fits snugly in your inner jacket pocket, its gears emitting a faint, irregular tick against your ribs, too slow for its advertised celestial accuracy. Behind you, the librarian shuffles parchments with arthritic hands, oblivious as his own shadow stretches unnaturally across the star charts. The glass dome's absence leaving a perfect circle of dust on the pedestal. A draft snakes through the archives carrying whispers of oxidized copper and something sharper, like ozone after lightning. As the UV lamp's cord brushes your ankle, still swaying from your hurried exit. Okay, so I got out. So now I have this orrery and I have this map, or this original document, the codex. All right, so let's make things interesting, and I'm gonna respond with how about I quickly begin my long walk home, but don't realize that I'm being followed by two thugs from a secret organization. How's that? All right. The weight of the stolen orrery presses against your chest as you weave through Alexandria's labyrinthine alleys. Behind you, two figures, one broad-shouldered in a linen duster, the other wiry with a scarred left ear, maintain a careful distance, their footsteps lost in the din of merchants hawking spices and copperware. A cart laden with pomegranates rolls between you momentarily, and when it passes, the wiry one is closer, his fingers flexing near a leather-wrapped hilt at his belt. The scent of roasting lamb from a nearby stall mingles with something metallic. Maybe blood, maybe the orrery's aging gears, as you turn down a narrower street where the shadows stretch longer. Okay, so now I'm going to roll again. So now I'm in a new situation. So now I've got two guys following me. Looks like I'm also heading down a narrow street. So, all right, well, let's see. Okay, it is a 6. Okay, so 6 gets, okay, now 6 is a complication. So we need a 6-sided die. Alright, so it is a 4. Okay, so now 4 is Prompt 6. The rain made the cobblestones slick. Every step was a calculation. A misstep could send me sprawling and leave me vulnerable. I realized almost automatically that the rain wasn't just an inconvenience. It was causing a temporary surface layer of water to reduce friction, a phenomenon called hydroplaning, even on foot, just enough for my boots to slide unexpectedly if I didn't adjust my gait. I pivoted sharply into a side alley, praying the thugs would follow blindly. Water pooled in the uneven gaps between the stones, reflecting the flickering lanterns above. My lungs burned, and I could feel the chill of the water soaking through my clothes. Each splash echoed loudly, giving me away, but I had no choice. Lightning flashed, briefly illuminating the labyrinth of twisting streets. The sudden brightness made it momentarily harder for them to track me. They had to blink against the glare. I remembered reading that lightning heats the air to around 30,000 Kelvin, over 5 times hotter than the surface of the sun, which makes the air expand explosively and creates thunder. That split-second flash was my one tiny advantage, a scientific quirk helping me survive. I dove behind a stack of crates, shivering, listening to their boots slap against stone. The rain hammered the rooftops and ran down the walls like molten silver. I had no idea how I was going to get out of this, but the streets, slickness, and the unpredictable lightning gave me a slim edge. If I could just see the chaos to my advantage, I might slip into the maze of streets and vanish. "You see him?" one of them growled, voice muffled by the rain. His companion spat something crude and kicked over a barrel, sending it clattering down the alley. Now this brings up the first piece of the part of this engine, is that I worked into the prompts for it to use real-world knowledge as part of the problem solving. So in this case, it's the idea of lightning, and what a great idea. If I can time my escape while they're standing in water, and if I can time it when the lightning hits, then maybe I'll have a split second to not be seen. So that's okay. So now it's time for the roll, my roll, to check to see how well I succeed. So I take my usual prompt 18. In order to coordinate my sprint perfectly with the next lightning flash, I need to roll a 15 or higher. So that's the first one. So yeah, that's really, really hard to try to coordinate. Okay, but it could happen, right? I got a 16. I coordinated it. Oh. Okay, and now it says dexterity roll. Navigate the slick cement floor without falling. This says 16 plus. I'm going to change that much lower because I'll say a 10, simply because I think this is off. This will be in my notes to check against the difficulty levels. Okay, here we go. 17. Either way, I got it. Okay, so I timed it right. I was able to not slip on the floor. So now, in order to move past the men so they don't see me, it says here 14 or higher, and I think I'm pushing my luck because I've already got like really high rolls. 2. Okay, well, I was able to time it right. I was able to not slip on the floor, but it looks like they still kind of saw me. So now, here it goes. So now, I am able to time my escape at the exact moment of the next lightning strike, and I didn't slip on the ground, the wet ground, but the two thugs did see me in a brief moment before I was able to run away. Okay, so the lightning's jagged fork splits the sky precisely as you pivot. Its blinding blue-white glare freezing the scene. Raindrops suspended like shattered glass. The wiry thug's outstretched fingers, inches from your collar, his companion's linen duster billowing like a sail. For that electrified half-second, their pupils contract to pinpricks. This writing is a little, And you're already moving, boots finding purchase on the wet cobbles where the grooves between stones channel rainwater into miniature rivers. The thunderclap hits as you round the corner, its concussive roar drowning their guttural curses. Ahead, the alley forks. Left, toward the harbor's fish stink and flickering gas lamps. Right, to a covered souk, where saffron and cumin hang in damp shrouds from awnings. Alright, so I could roll and say which way I'm going to go, or I could decide. I'd rather decide. I think this is like, okay, I'm now running. I got a good head start because of of my rolling before. Do I go to the souk? It's like a marketplace. Or do I go to the harbor? I'm gonna go... It's raining. So I'm gonna go to the souk. I think there'll be a lot of people. I'll do that. Okay. So, I make a quick decision to head for the souk, hoping that I can hide in the crowds. That I can hide in the crowds. Okay, it says, you plunge into the souk's humid embrace, shoulders brushing against merchants' baskets as the sudden shelter from rain muffles the world outside. The spice stalls offer momentary cover, thick braids of garlic swinging overhead, burlap sacks of cardamom piled high enough to crouch behind. A tea seller's copper kettle whistles, its steam curling around a group of Bedouin trailers, haggling over lapis lazuli beads, their animated gestures providing natural cover. Behind you, the thugs' footsteps slow at the souk's entrance, their silhouettes backlit by intermittent lightning as they scan the labyrinth of stalls. The orrery's ticking grows erratic against your ribs. It's brass warmed by your body heat as you melt deeper into the crowd where the scent of rosewater and wet wool hangs thick. Interesting. So what if the heat from my body is causing the orrery to activate or something? Okay, well, I need to roll. So this is my, I got 2 more rolls before this part of the adventure is over. So here we go. It is a 17. That is prompt 16. The colorful stalls of the Alexandria souk. The smell of spices and roasted coffee filling your nose. The thugs are on my heels. Ahead you see a narrow alley with 3 crates. One labeled dates, one labeled figs, and one labeled pistachios. A small market fact catches your eye. Dates are often stored in cool, dry areas to prevent fermentation. Figs ripen quickly and are usually stacked on open shelves. Pistachios are sometimes kept in mesh crates to allow airflow. I smell a puzzle coming on. Each crate is mislabeled. That is, no crate contains what the label says. You must figure out which crate actually contains each type of nut or fruit in order to pick a safe hiding place without giving yourself away. You only have time to inspect one crate before the thugs reach the market entrance. Okay, so crate A is labeled dates, crate B is labeled figs, crate C is labeled pistachios. You know all labels are wrong, and you can reach into only one crate to identify its contents. Which crate do you inspect? And how do you logically determine what is in each crate so you can slip into the correct hiding place? As the thugs shout grow louder, your mind races. Okay, so that goes into the answer, so I'm not going to get there yet. So, okay. Dates are stored in cool, dry areas. Figs are stacked on open shelves. Pistachios are kept in mesh crates. Okay. So if they're all marked wrong, then if I reach into the, let's say, the dates, I know it's not dates. So if it says dates, I know it's not dates. So I reach in, and I know it won't be cool. So it's either if you reach in, you know it's not what it says. So that means it's one of the other two. So whatever it isn't, it's asking me if I want to explain the full puzzle, like explain the answer. So I'm going to type in yes, explain answer, and I'll look at it later. And then probably in my next video, I'll explain it if there was more details that I missed. Okay, so I was able to hide, but now why was someone looking for me? Why were these two thugs and armed thugs out for me? I haven't done anything. Except for I did take the orrery, but nobody saw me do it, and it would be more security. I think that would take more police or authorities and not necessarily, a couple of thugs. So maybe I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna respond and say, I can't help but believe that the two men chasing me had something to do with the orrery. I also thought that it was strange that the orrery seemed to be activated by the warmth of my body. Okay. The orrery's gears stutter against your ribs, not the smooth celestial rhythm you'd expect, but a jerking syncopation that mirrors your racing heart. Its brass casing thrums with unnatural warmth, radiating through your jacket like a second pulse. Ahead, a spice merchant's stall collapses in a cascade of cinnamon sticks, drawing a chorus of shouts as the two thugs shoulder through the crowd, their linen dustins darkened by rain. One knocks over a basket of dried hibiscus flowers, the crimson petals scattering like bloodstains across the souk's wet stones. The wiry one's hand drifts toward the leather-wrapped hilt again, his scarred ear twitching at the orrery's irregular ticking, a sound only you should hear at this distance. So he can hear the orrery. That's probably how he's able to find me. Okay, I have to permanently get away and get a certain distance away. Or stop the orrery. If I can stop... Oh, I'm going to take it away from my body so that it's not wet. And I'm going to put it in... It's cold outside, so I'm going to look for something cold to put it in to make it chill so that it won't be making the sound, and then maybe I won't be chased. Okay, so now I'm gonna I am going to, what am I gonna do? That's what I'm gonna try to do. I'm going to I begin looking for some place to run, as well as something that I can cool the orrery off with so that it stops making its sounds for the thugs to hear. Okay. Your gaze darts between the souk stalls toward a narrow passageway choked with stacked ceramic jars of olive oil, their cool surfaces weeping condensation in the humid air. A vendor shouts as you snatch a damp linen cloth from his display of chilled pistachios, pressing it against the orrery through your jacket. The brass casing hisses faintly as the cloth absorbs its natural warmth. The ticking dulling to near silence, just as the wiry thug's head snaps towards your direction. Behind him, his companion kicks over a basket of dried figs, sending them rolling across the stones like tiny, wrinkled landmines underfoot. So interesting. So I was able to cool it off, and they don't see me. So now, this is the final roll for this scene. It is a 6. So 6 is... Okay, it's another one of... that's a complication. So it figures I'm going to have a complication. And that complication is a 4. So 4 is... It wants a location. I'm in a crowded Egyptian souk. This is a complication. Just when I got away with the two guys. It says, as you press the damp cloth against the orrery, a sudden commotion erupts near the spice stalls. A lean, sand-colored Saluki hound, its ribs visible beneath taut skin, lunges at the spilled figs with feral intensity. Its amber eyes lock onto the wiry thug's moving hand, mistaking the leather-wrapped hilt for food. Okay, good job, dog. Salukis, one of the oldest domesticated dog breeds, possess a chase instinct hardwired by millennia of hunting gazelles across deserts. Their acceleration can hit 42 miles per hour in 3 strides. Wow. Faster than most humans can react. The dog's lunge sends the thug stumbling backward into a pyramid of stacked clay amphora, their hollow crash drowning the orrery's last audible tick as olive oil slicks the stones. Cool, so the dog kind of saved me, really. I don't mind that one. It's supposed to be a complication. I guess it was a complication for them. So, I take... Oh, actually, no. So that's... Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. Usually there'd be one more roll for what to do, but since it kind of already took care of itself, I'm going to while the thugs are busy with the hound, I make a clean getaway and head straight for my apartment. Alright. You slip through the chaos, past overturned baskets of saffron and merchants shouting in a mix of Arabic and Greek, as the Salukis' snarls and the thugs' curses fade behind you. The damp linen still pressed to your chest, the orrery now lies silent and cool against your skin, its erratic ticking subdued. Emerging onto a quieter side street, you quicken your pace toward your apartment, the distant wail of a police siren mingling with the rhythmic slap of your shoes against wet pavement. The heavy wooden door of your building groans as you push it open, the familiar scent of aged paper and Turkish coffee wrapping around you like a shield. How did it go? I think it went really well. Again, I had tested the prompts out. I tested them out kind of in context and saw that, okay, there was going to be a good progression. It's the first time I actually completed a full scene to get an idea of how well the action actually played out. I like the fact that I can control the story through the story part of the AI, not ChatGPT, but the other part. That way, if it's going slow, if I want to take it a certain direction, I can take it, because there are definitely certain kind of adventures I want to go on. Also, too, it helps pick up the pace. I know in the 1930s pulps, you read those Dr. Savage kind of novels, and the action is moving. I really want that kind of feel. I also like the fact that it tried to incorporate in the puzzle the whole figs, pistachios, and the other one, I forget, dates. You had to know facts about them in order to solve the puzzle. I think I want to make sure that future puzzles do not include the information. I want it so that if you know the information, you can solve the puzzle. If you don't know it, then you can't. And so I think that's really what I'm going to be tested on. If I was actually there, would I be able to be successful in mine? So yes, I do dice rolling for right now to see how successful I am at certain things. But as I develop these, it's going to turn more into skill. It's going to turn more into knowledge. That's going to determine how well I do, and how quickly I can do it too. There'll be some speed elements. I don't want to get ahead of myself. But anyway, again, for a first time scene, I think it went well. I will look back at that puzzle, the dates puzzle, just to see what the answer was. In the next video, I'll explain it. And yeah, I think again with the prompts were kind of clunky, but I think that was me as I'm just getting started. Probably next time I do it, the prompts will be easier to just, I'll know more and just click over. I do like the flexibility to where if I wanted to camp out for a little while and enter more and kind of interact, then I can do that. And if I want to just jump and kind of get going or use a different element, if I want to roll again, I can roll again. I'm not locked into the rules. These rules are what I use to have a framework so that I can keep things going. But I'm absolutely leaving it to myself to tell the story how I want to tell it, and also to gear it in the direction I want to gear it. If I want to have more rules, I'll just add more prompt 18s in this case. Great. Well, hopefully we'll see you guys all at the next scene of scene 2 of 3, and it looks like the name of it is the Observatory of Shadows in Cusco, Peru. So that's where I'm going to next. I don't know why or how, but I'm leaving Alexandria. So thanks, guys. See you guys in the next video.